Hello. Hope you guys doing fantastic today. So this is going to be the last video from the Holy Fire Paladin. I wanted to show you guys, my final thoughts, like how the character functions in late game. This is not still like very late game. I'm going to show you after we're done with the showcase. What changes you could do, what stuff you could still do to make it even stronger. Actually, decently, like way stronger. But I'm at the point where I'm really happy with the how the character functions. I cleared yesterday. I cleared all the Uber bosses in the game, so I pretty much did everything at this point. I cleared Simulacrum. Of course, I didn't attempt any Valdos maps because I don't think that this character is going to be capable of doing these. But I'm this point I'm pretty happy with how the build functions, and generally speaking, I'm very happy with how the progression went and how strong the build was. And I'm going to talk about my thoughts, and after the showcase, we're going to talk about what you could still do and stuff like that. All right, so as you can see, I have Mage Blood at this point. This is like I'm just going to showcase you guys like a classic Minotaur map with like I don't know, it has like increased life or something like this. Boss has increased life. That's it. I'm just going to run through it. Oh, we have. I don't see that very often, I have to admit. So let's just see what the wisps have to offer. So the build is very quick. I set up my mage blood in a way that I'm just really fast. I don't know what that arena is. Okay. I don't really see wisps very often, so I think at this league so far, this event, this is the second time I found like the wisp thing. So apologize my confusion, but okay, there it is. Okay, we got some wisp, very nice. The boss might be. This is going to actually be a good showcase because the boss might have additional tankiness and damage. So that's very nice. This is also a perfect thing. We're going to fully charge this. Let's see how fast we're going to die to that. Hopefully we're not, but let's see. One word about the Uber bosses that I did yesterday. I did Uber bosses with this flask setup, as you can see right now. And that is extremely stupid because, for example, this Quicksilver flask is only pretty much responsible for giving me movement speed, and it doesn't really give you anything whatsoever while fighting Uber bosses. So I will admit I died on Uber bosses. I did all of them. I died on them few times. On some of them I didn't die a single time. For example, like Cortex, or I believe I didn't die a single time on Searing Exarch. But on some of them, it wasn't pretty necessarily. There wasn't a single time where I had to repeat a boss, but in some of them, like for example Uber Maven, I died like 3 times because it's just memory game. Anyway, you can make these so much easier. Number one, by making the improvements I'm going to show you at the end of the video that will increase the damage of the character and the power of the character even further. Number two is by simply changing your flask setup so that it's not freaking Quicksilver, instead doing some adjustments. Okay, we have the boss. It has some wisps. I don't know what these wisps provide to him. I can tell you one thing, that he's way stronger than usually, but still, that's if it wasn't for the wisps, then he would literally die in 1 second at this point. I guarantee. I have enough damage to like kill Uber bosses pretty quickly. Regular pinnacle bosses like just die like that. So I think I have about 25, maybe closer to 30 million Shaper DPS, something like this. So yeah. One thing you can do to help yourself with pinnacle content. We're going to talk about improvements to the build that you could make in just a few minutes. But first, what you can do is very simple. Swapping this Quicksilver flask that I have here for mobility to literally anything else that is going to be useful against the particular boss. For example, if you're going to be fighting Searing Exarch, you will swap to Ruby Flask. properly crafted, of course, which is not not a very high cost, just a little bit. And all of a sudden you'll be seeing at 85 or higher, depending on what ascendancy you picked. Because right now I'm running with field medicine for increased flask effect. You could totally swap back to elemental valiance and get about 25% more damage. But right now I'm running field medicine for more effect, to be even faster, right? To help me farm even faster. Because the damage is still fine anyway. Ruby Flask against something like Searing Exarch, boom, you're sitting at 86, 87 fire resistance, can make it 90 very easily if you plan on farming him for a longer period of time. Just literally just select these, boom, 3 points, you're sitting at 90 fire res, he does nothing. I could walk over 3, 4 of these, big balls during the magma ball or orb, whatever you want to call it, phase. I could walk over 3 and 4 and no problem. Like my regeneration still does enough work that this is not really a big problem. And other than that, it's extremely easy to avoid the remaining abilities from this boss. Admittedly, like he has few abilities. The melee attack that to us does really nothing for the most part. Then he has the flame wall ability that he throws, and then he always pushes it outwards, which is extremely easy to avoid. And then he has these, rain of fire thing that is very easy to avoid as soon as you're just moving for 2 seconds or 3 seconds or something. So just get fire resistance against this guy, Ruby Flask, and boom, that's it. When it comes to Uber Elder and Uber Shaper, the only thing you have to do is to switch this flask again for a Sapphire Flask. Make sure your cold resistance is very high, and with this Sapphire Flask you will be able to easily survive 3, maybe around 3, maybe in some circumstances 4 balls from the phase where, in the regular Shaper fight, you have Zana to help you with the bubble that protects you. When you're fighting Uber Shaper and Uber Elder, there's no protection. So just get your cold resistance to, once again, same story. Go get your cold resistance to 90 with this and the Sapphire Flask, and you're golden. These fights should be, you can farm them like deathless. I'm pretty confident that you can farm them just deathless. When it comes to Uber Cirrus, you can even keep this flask if you want, and just get yourself the suffix that also reads as immunity to bleeding and corrupted blood. With this flask, Cirrus should be, I don't want to say trivial because this fight is extremely annoying and boring in my opinion. Sometimes you're like one hit away from phasing him to the next phase, and then he's just going to turn invulnerable and just spawn like this freaking tornado or whatever you want to call it, and you have to wait. And this fight is just, it's annoying, but whatever. Get yourself bleeding and corrupted blood immunity, maybe even like granite flask to get some armor, and you'll be golden. You should be doing that fight deathless. Stuff like Ether and Maven. What else? What else there is? Cortex. I didn't even like. There is no need to even swap flasks. Cortex. I did deathless. It was pretty easy. When it comes to Uber Maven, honestly, I don't know. You just have to be good at the game, because right now I don't have that much damage to be killing her like boom, boom, boom instantly, and the memory game is annoying at times. With that speed, I could get the memory game, but I would always get hit by the no recovery thing, right? This laser, and then she would kill me afterwards. Like I died 3 times to her or something like this. Managed to do her still 3 portals left, but 2 portals left still. But yeah, you know what I mean, right? And Ether, honestly, I don't think that against Ether you need to swap into any other flasks either. But if you want to be extremely safe, you can swap out this flask for cold resistance and this one for lightning, and he should be doing, for the most part, not really a lot of damage. And that's pretty much how I did Uber bosses. When it comes to Simulacrum, I did Simulacrum deathless. I do believe that the current amount of damage I had was enough, but for example, wave 14, I had 2 tank modifiers, and it took me like 30 seconds. I kid you not, to like kill Colossus. Meanwhile, next wave 15, they didn't get any tankiness modifiers, and I killed them in like 5 seconds. Both bosses died in like 5 seconds. So yeah, in some cases, I would say that you could pretty much safely farm with what I have here currently. You could pretty much safely farm Simulacrum. Um, but I would say that getting a little bit more damage would be probably like, to always feel smooth, for every wave to feel smooth, probably getting some more damage still would be a good idea. And we're going to get to the damage right now. So this is Paladin current final form, whatever you want to call it. This is exactly the character that was, that you could see over here. Now, when it comes to the improvements that you could make to make this build, basically to keep on pushing. Right now, as you can see, the setup is just like in previous POBs, and like generally speaking, this is there is no BS here. This is for the most part everything. The only thing I don't have is frenzy charges against bosses, I guess, but that's like not a big deal. So I have about, let's just say without frenzy charges, I have about 21 million, 22 million Shaper DPS. Of course, not the Uber version. What you could do to make the build even stronger, do even more damage. So, number one option, get rid of this Fortify. I don't know why I didn't do that, because it's actually pretty cheap. But get rid of this Fortify cluster over here and get yourself a large cluster jewel. So large cluster jewel, boom, we're gonna put over here. We're gonna get mace and staff damage. Don't know why it's not scepter, but it's fine. And we're going to get ourselves weight advantage. We're going to get ourselves overlord, and we're going to get ourselves martial prowess. This whatever, doesn't matter really. And we're going to put this jewel over here, and we're probably going to get rid of I don't know, these two maybe. Because I don't think we're gonna have enough points, so let's just get rid of this cluster over here. Boom, boom, boom. We're selecting everything except for this one small point, and we're putting jewels over here. Let's just say, I don't know, this one that I had over there. Boom, boom, and boom. 30% more damage. Basically, we didn't lose anything for that except for a little bit of regeneration. 30% more damage just like that. That is absolutely insane, and I don't know why I didn't do it yet. I mean, whatever. I've been farming for Mage Blood, so I've been busy, I guess. But, and that's still level 99, by the way. We could still, like, I don't know, put 1 point over here in that life or something like that. Number two thing, you could definitely get better jewels. My jewels suck. As I mentioned in one of the videos before, you could get crit multi, especially with Mage Blood, because with Mage Blood you pretty much have permanently 100% crit chance. If you have Corruption on your Brutus, you could completely change the jewels into actually good ones. And what I mean by that, critical strike multiplier with one-handed weapons. Then we're going to get Mace and Scepter, attack speed 8%. Then we're going to get crit multi once again. And this time it's going to be elemental skills and 16 strength. If you can get yourself multiple jewels like that, and let's just say that I'm going to get rid of all of my jewels, then just look carefully at the damage. That's like 30% more damage or something like that. And I've been using pretty mediocre jewels for a very long time. As you can see with these two, not relatively, like, the thing is that they don't need to be exactly like this. For example, at this point you can swap that critical strike multiplier for like additional strength or attack speed, 5% attack speed, or like, I don't know, all attributes or something. There's still options, right? So you can have fun around, like play around, and with appropriate modifiers. As you can see, we increased our damage by 70%, 70% more percent, just like that. Which once again, I don't know why I didn't do, because all of the stuff that I did is worth, probably, it will cost you probably around 10 divines or 15 divines or something like that. So it's like 8 times less than Mage Blood, but I'm smart, I guess. Another thing, obviously, what you can do is change your field medicine back to Field medicine is going to give you a little bit, but it's mostly, I picked it up mostly for speed. You can change back to elemental valiance, and that is going to be pretty much, compared to the version that you saw over here, that is already double damage. That is, we're getting to, at this point you can easily farm simulacrums, no problem, most likely deathless, and they will be just getting obliterated at this point, at this amount of damage. But we're not even done, because there is one more thing I can do apart from things like, you know, double corruptions everywhere and like getting like insane helical rings. I have one that is pretty nice, with a lot of strength, although I'll be honest, this still, you know, like, it's hard to hit a ceiling of like how crazy helical rings can get with the Calandra's reflection, right? So like this one is still a regular helical ring. This one is you know, better, but it's still like, instead of that intelligence, I could have all attributes, stuff like that. It could be even better, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, probably another thing that I forgot about is you could change that True Strike from my amulet, because I don't really think I need crit that much anymore. That 45% crit from that is like, you know, I'm getting close to 100% at this point anyway. You could probably allocate something else instead. But what you could do after that is you could get like a crazy tincture, which would help you drastically against bosses. There are some tinctures that literally double your damage. That's how much damage they add. That's how much penetration they do. But of course, that's how much penetration they add. But of course, tinctures have one problem: they burn your mana pretty quickly. I'm not sure if this this mechanic still exists in the game. There's this one tincture that gives you a 1% penetration per second until like 200% penetration, but it like drains, of course, more and more and more and more and more mana. And there is a way to completely mitigate that, and you're just walking around with like 200% penetration, right? Which is freaking insane. But I'm not even going to talk about this. I'm talking right now about the regular tincture. The regular tincture, like properly crafted, would give you like literally double damage. But you will start draining mana, so the effect will work for like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 seconds, and then it's going to be put on cooldown, which is still very good, because if you need additional damage to, for example, very quickly kill Uber Maven, then this damage will definitely be helpful, and you will be able to face Uber Maven like just like that, right? With this amount of damage. So that's pretty much it. Of course, you know, as usual in Path of Exile, you could do many other stuff, like for example, play around with different unique jewels and stuff like that. You know, there's probably some places where I could put Light of Meaning, like for example over here, for additional stats, all attributes, stuff like that. There is probably a lot of stuff, but I didn't really experiment with that much, because as I mentioned before, I'm generally speaking really happy with how the build turned out. Very happy. I had smooth ride since pretty much level 1 until end game, until Uber bosses. I wasn't sure if I will even be able to commit to kill Uber bosses with this build, and I won't have to reroll. But it just feels nice. Like every time you you take a big hit, this regeneration doing God's work. Having this much regeneration feels really nice. I haven't played a character with like a lot of regeneration for a long time, and trust me, this regeneration feels amazing. 2000 regeneration, you can push even more. For example, boom, you have 3 nodes over here. Boom, if you want to, you go from 2000 to 2500, right, for 3 nodes. So, and you know that's not all, because for example on gauntlets you can get regeneration. Let me see how much that is. Regeneration rate. Oh, that's 21% regeneration rate. So this one modifier would give you additional 360 regeneration. So only with this, if you had better gloves than I do, my gloves are okay, but if you had better gloves with regeneration rate and you invested these 3 points, you are sitting at this point at 3000 regeneration almost per second. At this point, if you equipped your ruby flask, you could just like stand still in the magma ball phase in Searing Exarch fight. I think you could just stand still and they wouldn't kill you. That's how stupid this would get. So yeah, very happy with how it turned out. Very nice. The reason why I'm going to stop playing it in, I don't know, 2-3 days is because I want to start working. I already started gathering equipment. I have some of the stuff that I need. 3 items here. There's the chest already as well. Oh, this one. I already started working on my next character, which is going to be capable of. I think I'm going to be attempting Valdo's maps with this character, and it's just going to be close to, like, it should be close to immortal, but we'll see how it's going to turn out, right? But I'm very excited to see test this character and perhaps others in the future as well during this event, because this is our special moment, and also we're waiting until PoE 2, so we still have plenty of time left, probably 2-3 weeks. So during 2-3 weeks we can do plenty of stuff till then, right? I definitely want to play Behemoth as well. You can laugh right now, but I want to make a Behemoth build. We're going to see how it's going to turn out. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Any questions you're going to have about this build, and generally speaking, let me know if you enjoyed playing it, or if you plan, for example, starting it. I'm going to answer every single question that I can, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you didn't consider that, like, the people that went for this build don't consider like a bait or something like that, because that is the worst. And we will see each other in the next video. Bye bye.